Good day and God bless you. Welcome to the Bible reading in chronological order. Just such a privilege to have you with us. I'm so grateful that you took time to watch this video today and join us in the Bible reading. And I pray that the overview and the reading would be a blessing to you today. Today we're busy in the second book of the Chronicles, and we're going to be going through chapters 10, 11, and 12. And this is basically a recap of what we read through yesterday, but yesterday's reading was taken from the book of Kings. Today we're going through the book of Chronicles. Now this is the history of the revolt of the 10 northern tribes of Israel against Rehoboam and Judah after he rejected the counsel of the old men who stood before Solomon his father and heeded to the young men who gave him very poor advice. Now as you're going through it, you'll see the young men actually told him to be hard with the people that came up to him, Jeroboam and the people of the northern tribes. And this was not the right thing to do at the time, and the old men advised him differently, and he just didn't listen to them. Now, notice importantly that the idolatry and the setting up of the high places in the northern kingdom is not focused on in the same way in the book of Chronicles as it is in the book of Kings. The book of Kings was a history of the Israelite kings to Israel. The book of Chronicles was something that was passed around through other generations as well. It was the encyclopedia of what was going on in Israel as opposed to the history of Israel to the Israelites. Now when you look at it in that light, you'll understand why the history of Jeroboam is not laid out the way it is in the book of Kings and what happened there in the northern kingdom at that time. It is spoken about, but not in as great detail. Just a reminder as well, something that I did not mention yesterday and might have been a little confusing. We were dealing with 11 tribes, but remember that Levi did not have a tribe or land. They lived in and amongst the other tribes. That's why it's the 10 northern tribes, and then Judah as a single tribe, the Levites living in and amongst all the other tribes. So then we get to chapter 11, and here we see that Rehoboam, raising up an army of 180,000 men to war against Jeroboam and those that have seceded, is actually forbidden by Shemaiah, the man of God. Thus Rehoboam, instead of going up to war against them, he builds cities of defense in Judah, and these are listed in this chapter. If you look at it, you'll also see that Bethlehem there is raised up as a city of defense within there. I just thought it was quite interesting, and I thought I'd add it in there. Also because of the idolatry of Jeroboam and him casting out the Levites from their duties, the Levites actually moved down into Judah. And not the Levites only, but all from every tribe that sought to serve the living God of Israel. And for 3 years, Judah walked in the way of the Lord after the manner of David. Then we read of Rehoboam's wives and his children, and then we get to chapter 12, and Rehoboam, who after 3 years of walking in the ways of the Lord and governing Judah well, he forsakes the Lord. Thus the Lord punished him by raising up Shishak the king of Egypt against him. But when Rehoboam and the princes of Judah humbled themselves before the Lord showed them mercy, and they were not utterly destroyed. But Rehoboam, even though he humbled himself at times during his 17-year reign, he did not seek the Lord, and therefore tended toward evil. And so he dies, and then his son Abijah reigns in his stead. And that's where we're going to leave it today. I pray that the Lord would bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you. May he give you peace. God bless you as you enjoy the reading of the word today.
Chapter 10. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for to Shechem were all Israel come to make him king. And it came to pass, when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was in Egypt, whither he had fled from the presence of Solomon the king, heard it, that Jeroboam returned out of Egypt. And they sent and called him. So Jeroboam and all Israel came and spake to Rehoboam, saying,
Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore ease thou somewhat the grievous servitude of thy father, and his heavy yoke that he put upon us.
And we will serve thee.
And he said unto them,
Come again unto me after 3 days.
And the people departed. And King Rehoboam took counsel with the old men that had stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, saying,
What counsel give ye me to return answer to this people?
And they spake unto him, saying,
If thou be kind to this people, and please them, and speak good words to them, they will be thy servants forever.
But he forsook the counsel which the old men gave him, and took counsel with the young men that were brought up with him, that stood before him. And he said unto them,
What advice give ye that we may return answer to this people which have spoken to me, saying, Ease somewhat the yoke that thy father did put upon us?
And the young men that were brought up with him spake unto him, saying,
Thus shalt thou answer the people that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it somewhat lighter for us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. For whereas my father put a heavy yoke upon you, I will put more to your yoke. My father chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions.
So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam on the third day, as the king bade, saying, Come again to me on the third day. And the king answered them roughly. And King Rehoboam forsook the counsel of the old men, and answered them after the advice of the young men, saying,
My father made your yoke heavy, but I will add thereto. My father chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions.
So the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was of God, that the Lord might perform his word, which he spake by the hand of Ahijah the Shilonite to Jeroboam the son of Nebat. And when all Israel saw that the king would not hearken unto them, the people answered the king, saying,
What portion have we in David?
And we have none inheritance in the son of Jesse. Every man to your tents, O Israel.
And now, David, see to thine own house.
So all Israel went to their tents. But as for the children of Israel that dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. Then King Rehoboam sent Hadoram that was over the tribute, and the children of Israel stoned him with stones that he died. But King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. And Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. Chapter 11. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he gathered of the house of Judah and Benjamin 180,000 chosen men which were warriors, to fight against Israel, that he might bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam. But the word of the Lord came to Shemaiah the man of God, saying,
Speak unto Rehoboam the son of Solomon king of Judah, and to all Israel in Judah and Benjamin, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Ye shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren. Return every man to his house, for this thing is done of me.
And they obeyed the words of the Lord, and returned from going against Jeroboam. And Rehoboam dwelt in Jerusalem, and built cities for defense in Judah. He built even Bethlehem, and Etam, and Tekoa, and Bethzur, and Shoko, and Adullam, and Gath, and Marisha, and Ziph, and Adoraim, and Lachish, and Azekah, and Zorah, and Aijalon, and Hebron, which are in Judah and in Benjamin, fenced cities. And he fortified the strongholds, and put captains in them, and store of victual, and of oil, and wine. And in every several city he put shields and spears, and made them exceeding strong, having Judah and Benjamin on his side. And the priests and the Levites that were in all Israel resorted to him out of all their coasts. For the Levites left their suburbs and their possession, and came to Judah and Jerusalem. For Jeroboam and his sons had cast them off from executing the priest's office unto the Lord. And he ordained him priests for the high places, and for the devils, and for the calves which he had made. And after them, out of all the tribes of Israel, such as set their hearts to seek the Lord God of Israel, came to Jerusalem to sacrifice unto the Lord God of their fathers. So they strengthened the kingdom of Judah, and made Rehoboam the son of Solomon strong 3 years. For 3 years they walked in the way of David and Solomon. And Rehoboam took him Mahalath, the daughter of Jerimoth, the son of David, to wife, and Abihail, the daughter of Eliab, the son of Jesse, which bare him children, Jeush, and Shamariah, and Zaham. And after her he took Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, which bare him Abijah, and Attai, and Ziza, and Shelomith. And Rehoboam loved Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, above all his wives and his concubines. For he took 18 wives, and 80 concubines, and begat 28 sons, and 80 daughters. And Rehoboam made Abijah the son of Maacah the chief, to be ruler among his brethren, for he thought to make him king. And he dealt wisely, and dispersed of all his children throughout all the countries of Judah and Benjamin unto every fenced city. And he gave them victual in abundance. And he desired many wives. Chapter 12. And it came to pass, when Rehoboam had established the kingdom, and had strengthened himself, he forsook the law of the Lord, and all Israel with him. And it came to pass that in the 5th year of King Rehoboam, Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem, because they had transgressed against the Lord, with 1,200 chariots and 70,000 horsemen. And the people were without number that came with him out of Egypt, the Lubims, the Suckians, and the Ethiopians. And he took the fenced cities which pertained to Judah, and came to Jerusalem. Then came Shemaiah the prophet to Rehoboam and to the princes of Judah that were gathered together to Jerusalem because of Shishak, and said unto them,
Thus saith the Lord, Ye have forsaken me, and therefore have I also left you in the hand of Shishak.
Whereupon the princes of Israel and the king humbled themselves, and they said,
The Lord is righteous.
And when the Lord saw that they humbled themselves, the word of the Lord came to Shemaiah, saying,
They have humbled themselves, therefore I will not destroy them, but I will grant them some deliverance, and my wrath shall not be poured out upon Jerusalem by the hand of Shishak. Nevertheless, they shall be his servants, that they may know my service and the service of the kingdoms of the countries.
So Shishak king of Egypt came up against Jerusalem, and took away the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king's house. He took all. He carried away also the shields of gold which Solomon had made. Instead of which King Rehoboam made shields of brass, and committed them to the hands of the chief of the guard that kept the entrance of the king's house. And when the king entered into the house of the Lord, the guard came and fetched them, and brought them again into the guard chamber. And when he humbled himself, the wrath of the Lord turned from him, that he would not destroy him altogether. And also in Judah things went well. So King Rehoboam strengthened himself in Jerusalem and reigned. For Rehoboam was 41 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city which the Lord had chosen out of all the tribes of Israel to put his name there. And his mother's name was Naamah, an Ammonitess. And he did evil, because he prepared not his heart to seek the Lord. Now the acts of Rehoboam, first and last, are they not written in the book of Shemaiah the prophet, and of Iddo the seer, concerning genealogies? And there were wars between Rehoboam and Jeroboam continually. And Rehoboam slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of David. And Abijah his son reigned in his stead.